There is a reason, in my opinion, why this story and why this indictment is coming out right now. And the reason why is because Joe Biden has just hit an all-time low approval rating. And the reason why is because of the story that I'm about to tell you. So Devin Archer, a former business partner with Hunter Biden, came forward to Congress and testified about how Hunter Biden used his name, his last name, the Biden name, and his dad for his business dealings. This is a big deal, especially because it's in connection to Ukraine, which obviously Joe Biden has had a lot to do with Ukraine recently in the war there. But regardless, this is about how Joe Biden acted when he was a senator and a vice president specifically. And this broke earlier this week and has been kind of covered over by the indictment of Trump. But I want to talk about it because I believe that there's a reason why the indictment came out the time it came out. I believe it was to cover up this story. So according to NBC, this was Representative Dan Goldman, he's a Democrat from New York, said, quote, "The witness, Devin Archer, indicated that Hunter spoke to his father every day and approximately 20 times over the course of a 10-year relationship. Hunter may have put his father on the phone with any number of different people, and they never once spoke about any business dealings." So essentially, this Democrat is admitting all the times that they talked, and how Hunter is according to Devin Archer, Hunter put his father on the phone during these business meetings and dinners, but they didn't talk about any business or they didn't talk about politics or anything. He goes on to say, as he described it, it was all casual conversation, niceties, the weather, what's going on. There wasn't a single conversation about any of the business dealings that Hunter had. And I hope people have seen the memes about it. The Babylon Bee came out with some really good ones. You should go see them. But essentially, we're led to believe that Hunter Biden was sitting down with a Ukrainian energy company for dinner. It was a business dinner, right? He was on the board. Not to mention that he's never done anything important in his life, but and has really no credentials to be on a large energy company board. But he's sitting on the board, and then he decided, you know what? I'm just going to call up Dad and talk about the weather in the middle of this dinner. I have no words. Like, I can't believe the Democrat actually came forward and said this happened. Now, this could be true or it could not be true. We can't say for certain, but we can basically say for certain that it didn't happen. It doesn't actually matter, though. The reality is Hunter Biden is on the board of a Ukrainian energy company, or was. He also has business dealings with China. And basically what he does is he says, hey, guys, I'm Hunter Biden, like emphasis on the word Biden. I've got this pretty nice last name, and I have a good relationship with my father. He's the second most powerful man in the world. And you know what? I'll call him right now just to prove to you that we have a good relationship. Calls him up. I guess they talked about the weather, or colluding with Ukrainian government or energy companies. Basically, he tells them that, just thinking logically, he tells the energy company or China that they can benefit financially from knowing him, and that Biden will push forth legislation and executive orders in order to benefit them. So essentially, we have collusion between the Biden family and foreign entities. This is like almost treason, if it's true. And I do want to say, like, we don't know for sure this is true. This is on the word of Devin Archer as well as the Hunter Biden laptop. There seems to be a lot of evidence pointing towards it. This is a big deal. I mean, a big enough deal where the FBI was covering it up in 2020 so that Donald Trump wouldn't win the election. It's clear that they believed that if this information was out, Joe Biden would not have won that election. And so this is a big deal. We have transcripts from Hunter Biden. This is from the Hunter Biden laptop talking about Joe Biden with his business partners and calling him the big man. Talking about like his cut for the big man. This is with his business partners. The committee chair, James Comer, is a Republican, said that Joe Biden joined over 20 dinners Hunter had with his business partners virtually in order to, quote, sell the brand, which is absolutely right. The Biden family has a brand. Joe Biden is one of the longest standing politicians in our country. He's been a senator for a very long time, then vice president, now president. Basically, in conclusion, it's rules for me, but not for thee. The Biden family gets to cover up all the things that they're doing. They get away with colluding with literal foreign governments and companies while the DOJ covered up with a Trump indictment. I don't want to hear anymore. I hear this so much from the mainstream media. I hear, well, Merrick Garland, the head of the DOJ, isn't Joe Biden. Joe Biden doesn't control him. Guys, Joe Biden is the chief executive. That means the DOJ is under his control. He controls it completely. And so it is naive to think that he doesn't have his hand puppeteering this. And it might not be Joe Biden himself, but it could be his chief of staff. It is the Biden administration that is in charge of the DOJ. That is why it's corrupt around the Biden family, but somehow covering it up very conveniently with the Trump indictments. Again, in my opinion, this is an attempt to shield Biden, bolster Trump with Republicans, so he wins the primary and loses the general election. I've talked about this before. I personally believe Democrats think Donald Trump is the easiest to beat. That's a very logical thing to think, considering Joe Biden did beat him in 2020, and a lot of the important people that Donald Trump endorsed in 2022 lost to people that Joe Biden endorsed. So again, don't shoot me. I'm just the messenger. I'm saying this is a very logical move for Democrats to bolster Trump. And people keep saying, oh, well, the indictments only make Donald Trump more popular. Yeah, they make him more popular for Republicans. Democrats don't care about Republicans. They care about independents. I have yet to see any data that supports the fact that the Trump indictments is somehow making Trump more popular among independents or Democrats. Surrounding other candidates, I've seen a lot of other things that have showed that stuff that they're doing is pulling Democrats and independents over their side. So essentially, Republicans might vote for Donald Trump in the primary. And I say might, basically, what I mean is almost certainly. But no Republican was going to vote for Biden. So that doesn't matter. It's the independents that might vote for Biden. Something to consider. Either way, Republicans have to get their act together because the Biden administration will continue to do these corrupt things. The question is are we going to bicker and be angry about it, or the Republican leader is going to stand up and do something about it and have a plan to do it? That is what I'm focused on in 2024. Who has a plan?